You in? Okay.
Conference recording started. Conference recording started. The recording has started.
As the sun rises, we raise the flag, a symbol of all that we hold most dear as Americans. Courage, opportunity, democracy, freedom. They're the values and beliefs that built this country and still beat in our hearts. But they're under attack by an extreme movement that seeks to overturn elections, ban books, and eliminate a woman's right to choose. Joe Biden has made defending our basic freedoms the cause of his presidency. The freedom for women to make their own health care decisions. The freedom for our children to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to vote and have your vote counted. For seniors to live with dignity. And to give every American the freedom that comes with a fair shot at building a good life. In small towns and big cities, we raise our heads, our eyes, our hearts for America, for the idea of this great country. Joe Biden is running for re-election to make certain that the sun will not set on this flag. The promise of American democracy will not break.
Democracy must not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue.
As your president, I will defend our democracy with every fiber of my being, and I'm asking every American to join me.
For freedom, for democracy, for America, Joe Biden.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Pick up your copy of the Son of Man Speaks magazine today. With the Son of Man Speaks magazine, you'll receive automotive tips, wholesome recipes, financial advice, and most importantly, a true understanding of the Word of God. Get your copy of The Son of Man Speaks from these select locations. Sisters, Grade 2, 18070 Mount Elliott, the Shell gas station, 13110 West 7 Mile Road. To get a subscription, call 601-786-9788. That's 601-786-9788. The Son of Man Speaks magazine, dedicated to becoming free indeed.
We would like to invite you to help support the efforts of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. Visit the website at www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. We often hear how we need to work together to rebuild the city, and we're actually doing it. You can make online donations and click on links to track the progress of the Unity and Rebuilding. And for more information, 313-868-0000 is a local number. Again, 313-868-0000. Support the Unity and Rebuilding.
Attention, brothers and sisters, viewers and listeners, now available. Your Son of Man Speaks magazine digital subscription. Your digital subscription to the Son of Man Speaks magazine will also include our monthly e-newsletter, both delivered to your inbox. If you have any questions regarding the digital magazine subscription or digital newsletter, you may send an email to shabazprinting@thenewnationofislam.com. That's shabazprinting@thenewnationofislam.com. Or call 1-601-786-9788. That's 1-601-786-9788. You can also subscribe online. Visit www.thenewnationofislam.com and click on the magazine tab to register for your online subscription.
I just used your other one though today because it was, look, it did 2 drips and I was like, oh, I can use my umbrella. My homegirl was talking about it. I'm like, don't talk about it.
With our umbrellas, our customers are turning a drab day into a fab day. After all, representation matters. In other words, rain or shine, we've got you covered. Introducing Designs by Deej, your one-stop gift shop for all things handmade and unique. Our products range from our most popular umbrellas, blanket and pillow sets, handmade coasters, and other statement pieces that showcase the beauty of our melanin and natural hair in a beautiful and empowering way. You can find our brand at the sister shop locations in New Jersey and Atlanta, Georgia, or you can visit our website, www.designsbydeej.com. Again, that's www.designsbydeej.com.
We love Detroit. We are at where?
Hey, Larry, we are right here on Mount Elliott in Detroit at Sisters Braid 2 Hair Salon.
Ooh, I'm talking. I'm going on this place. It looks like Beverly Hills or something.
Absolutely beautiful. You guys know I wear my braids. Larry's gonna buy me something. It's gonna be a hairdo, guys. It's gonna be my hair today.
Hey, braid.
Welcome to this week's edition of We Love Detroit. I am on Detroit's east side at Sisters Braid 2, a beautiful hair salon. I am here with the CEO, Miss Crystal. How are you today, Miss Crystal?
I'm good. Thank you.
I am so excited to be here. Everybody know I love my hair and I love my braids. Typically, you guys know, but you have to tell us, how did Sisters Braid 2 get started?
We started Sisters Braid 2 in 2009 in order to bring back some experience and quality and great customer service to this craft that I love so much.
Yes, wonderful. And it's so clean and professional. And I have such a warm feeling when I come in. It's beautiful in here. It's decorated so beautifully. What made you come and choose this spot? Right in the heart of Detroit, Detroit's east side. What made you come over here?
Well, we had this building and we just wanted to do something with it. It's a collective effort from the New Nation of Islam. And we came in and they allowed me to decorate it and set up like I wanted to, and that's how we got started with that.
Now listen, not only do you guys do braids, because that's what's in the title, but you don't only do braids, you do all hair care here, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about some of the other services you offer.
Yeah, so we offer all phases of braids, but we also offer natural styles like 2-strand twist, scalp twist, men's braids, children's braids, press and curls. The only thing we don't do is chemicals.
Yeah. And that's really important for all year round. And it's so huge now. It's been about protective styles for our hair, not just for the winter months, but all year round. It is important to protect our hair the best we can, and you do all styles for that. So I love that. But let's talk about an important product that you have, a really well-known product. Let's talk about that.
Okay, right. That's our Sister Shea Oil. Yes, it's loaded with 10 to 12 great natural oils: aloe vera, shea butter, grapeseed oil, rosemary. So all those things that soothe the scalp while you're in braids, or even if you're not in braids, those things are going to hydrate those coils and keep your hair healthy.
And it's done really well, right? You've been on some really well-known shows, right?
Yeah, we've been on Live in the D. We've been on Channel 7. We're featured in Small Business Saturdays.
Fantastic.
We have the Spirit of Detroit Award.
She's on the Spirit of Detroit Award. And now she's on the award. We love Detroit.
Absolutely.
Now she's come around.
Yes. Absolutely.
We just love it. Right here, Sisters. Shay is the product. Sisters Braid 2 is the shop. When are you open, Crystal?
We're open Tuesday through Saturday. We start as early as 8 a.m. We take our last appointment around 6 p.m.
So appointments, because you want to make sure that you're being considerate of others' time.
Yes.
And because that's something that's very important to us.
In order to give that comfortable quality service, we feel like the only way to go is by appointment.
That's right.
As soon as you get in, you're getting in the chair, you're getting serviced.
My favorite. I will definitely be coming down. Exactly my braids. You guys must too. It's beautiful in here. Over a decade of experience, wonderful customer service. It's so beautiful in here. I have to say again, right here on Detroit's east side on Mount Elliott. Sisters Braid too. Yes. You have to come down. They gotta come down and see us, right, Chris?
Yes, absolutely.
Because we love Detroit.
Yes.
Okay, say
we love Detroit. Yes. We love Detroit.
One more time.
We love Detroit.
Hey, another show, Ginger.
Larry, wasn't that so nice?
It was so fascinating. You know, it's amazing what people can do when they put their mind to it.
Absolutely, especially in this beauty industry. You guys have to make sure to come on down to Sisters Braid too.
It's a jewel.
Yeah.
In your own neighborhood.
Larry didn't buy me a style today, but at least I got an appointment for next
week.
week.
I gave you a smile.
All the time.
See you next week.
Out of the clock. 7 seconds. 6 seconds.
Oh man, the power's out again.
You have reached Quality Construction and Engineering, your #1 emergency generator source.
Power outages can be unpredictable, inconvenient, and disruptive to your life. With a backup generator, your life goes on uninterrupted with power when you need it. Not to mention the peace of mind of having your property sealed to weather the storm.
Whoever would have thought in Houston, Texas, that we would have an ice storm? It did happen, and that Sunday night when it came in, I got up and looked at the front door, everything was pitch black. It was horrible. Something out of a novel or science book that you had never seen before. Once the lights went out, my generator popped on. It ran 55 hours. The only one had lights.
Get your backup generator installed with Quality Construction. We install both residential and commercial generators, so you're always covered. Schedule your consultation with us by calling 1-855-876-9370. That's 1-855-876-9370. Or visit us online at www.powerqec.com. That's www.powerqec.com. Financing is available with low monthly payments and 0% interest for 18 months.
That was the best investment that we could have ever made. That's my backup, the generator.
Generators with Quality Construction, built tough enough to weather the storm.
SOS Graphic Design provides agency-quality professional graphic design services from established companies to startups and individuals, creating a simple logo to complete rebranding and delivering visual communication with print media. Everything SOS Graphic Design does has a single unifying objective: to set your business apart. We are at your service. Call 313-342-2166. That's 313-342-2166, or online at www.sosgraphicdesigns.com.
To make your online tithes, offerings, donations, gifts to the Son of Man through Cash App, make your payment to $ New Nation of Islam. That's $ New Nation of Islam. Or call 601-786-7056. 601-786-7056.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Brothers and sisters,
Are you tired of reading the Holy Scripture and not really understanding what you read? And if you're reasonably sure, have you ever tested that what you feel you know with someone that has a different view than your own? Then let's talk with one another. Then let's reason with one another on a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 12 noon. On WHPR TV Detroit Live, 88.1 FM WHPR, and Comcast Cable. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible, and if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their true meaning? You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. That's 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. And now, let's go live with a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet you all once again who are hungry and thirsty for Allah's understanding of His Word. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam alaikum. As I usually do, I will do again. Those who have questions or disagreements or something that you would like to discuss with me, you may ask your question or have that discussion with me at this time before we get into anything else. That is the benefit of getting to class on time. Because if you get to class on time and something was bothering you, you know that's the first thing I'm gonna take up. And but you who got other things you be doing, and you listens to me when you have time. True believers make time to listen to me. So I don't worry over you who think you can take Allah's word or leave it. It's a pastime. As in the book of Ezekiel, it says they come to you and they listen to you, but they won't do what you say. Allah told me that. He said, and you are to them as someone who can play well on an instrument or have a nice, can sing or something, and you are entertainment for them. That's what he was telling me. See, so I'm a means of entertainment for them, and that's what they have in their mind. But it will be a regret to them in the end. They will be saying, "Oh, would that I had taken away with the messenger." So, I want to let you hear. I want to show you the value of studying. And by the way, a brother asked me about the hadiths, and the hadith that I that I was reading out of, and my brother found a newer version of it. It does not read exactly the same as the one that I had, but it does have the same sayings in it, basically. And that's what I was really looking for. When you dealing with, you notice, you read the Holy Quran sometime, and when they get through translating it, the Yusuf Ali and the Maulana Muhammad Ali, sometimes they don't read exactly the same, But, both of them are basically, they are translated, and they just about point the same thing out. You understand? And so, whenever you ever when you was in school, we had about 30 students in class, and the teacher had us to do a little experiment. The teacher told us to whisper in the ear of your neighbor. He gave us something to say, and everybody did it. This was in elementary school. I think we did it in junior high school too. But anyway, I don't know if it was elementary or junior high. But when they was teaching us this, the dangers of hearsay. Do you understand? I mean, you pick up the chalk off of they give you a whole sentence. It's a pretty long sentence to say. And by the time it got to the last person and they said, now, what was the sentence? It done completely changed. And so that is why we don't, I don't hang my hat on hadiths, because that's just someone saying that they was with the prophet one day and he said this or he said that. Now the way you check hadiths is that if they don't contradict something in the Holy Quran, well then you can take it with a grain of salt. Do you understand? Because it's something that it may be true, and so you can take it with a grain of salt. But you don't associate the prophet with Allah. Allah has no associate. When Allah reveals a thing to his prophet, the prophet says what Allah tells him to say, whether he understands it or not. Do you understand? And he didn't understand everything that Allah told him to say, but he said it anyway. Jesus did the same thing, and all of the messengers of God did that. And so when they was like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he told us things, and he said, when you hear me speak of things that are divine, he said, that's all what Allah taught me. He said, now, if it's something of earth or commerce or whatnot, he said, that's me talking. Do you understand? And so it's just like people never understood why the messenger said he was the second self of God Almighty. He's the second of the two. And I didn't go into depth of it with you because I had never thought about it the way that I think about it now. You notice the vice president is he is just that, the vice president. And if the president becomes incapacitated, then until he's able to function again, the vice president is temporarily acting in his place. Do you understand? And so whenever remember that God said, the grantor of dominion said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And so the first likeness was of the earth, earthy. And we had to learn the earthy. And that man that was given dominion was the vicegerent. Do you understand? And because the truth, the whole truth, was not being told, just the earthy truth. Do you understand? And so we gave him dominion. He was the vicegerent, and that's one who rules in the absence of another. Do you understand? In the absence of light, darkness rules. Do you understand? Okay? So darkness is the vice ruler. And so when you look at as we bore the image, the imagination or the mind of the earthy truth, it took 6,000 years to finish giving that out. Do you understand? Dispensing that, you see. And so even though we had plenty understanding of the natural creation, we put names on everything. Adam informed them of their names. Huh? And so Adam informed us, the first man Adam informed us of the names of all of the things in creation. And he had light upon these things. But you must take heed unto the things that is now being said to you, lest the light within you be only darkness. Do you understand? The light of, you notice, you go to colleges and universities of the land, you have met some very intellectually capable lettered men and women in this world with PhD degrees, master's degrees, scientists, physicists, engineering degrees, and all these degrees that people have. And it is the knowledge or the mammon of unrighteousness. You don't go to study physics to get righteous. You study physics to become a physicist. You study mathematics to become a mathematician. You study medicine to become a doctor. But all of that knowledge that you have accumulated does not change your character. It does not change you into an upright human being. Do you understand? It does not have the power to do that. That's why you have, look at Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani was once, he once prosecuted people like Donald Trump as a district attorney or attorney general. I don't think he was ever the attorney general in New York, but he was a district. He worked in the Southern District, and he was one of the supervisors over there. And they prosecuted people who committed fraud and all of that kind of thing. And his law degree, in his practice of law, he chose to be a prosecutor. Do you understand? And they say he was very on top of things when he was over there. But that law degree did not make him an upright man. It just made him it gave him a profession, something that he could profess to be. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. That's in Romans. And so this is what people in this world, they are given the knowledge of, just like a child. You take a child that's 6 years old, and the minute he learns them alphabets and things, the alphabet and to count from 1 to 100, he can't wait to come and show you what he knows. Do you understand? He gets familiar with those things and he's rattling it off. And then well, that's normal. You praise them and you make them that inspires them to want to do more. Because you know if you don't act like it's a big deal, they won't, that can kill their spirit. You understand? So likewise, here are the little six-year-old races of people. They done learned how to split the atom. They done learned how to send signals through the air and everything. And they never gave credit to the one who taught them, but it's all right. You remember what I shared with you today that nobody thought of? You know, I mean, it didn't come from them. Remember the bicycle I showed y'all? But anyway, the point is, you know, we gave them what they have, and we wanted them to experience it, you know, use it, so that they would come to the conclusion that it wasn't enough. Do you understand? I mean, it's just like people who, now here, some of the children that are born into the new nation of Islam, and like some of the children who was born into the said nation of Islam, after the temples were all set up and the schools were set up and everything, they came in, and to them, it was just normal. Do you understand? And so they did not fully have an appreciation for what they had. Do you understand? Because it was there all of their lives. You can't miss what you never, you can't miss a thing if you've always had it and it's always there. You don't know what it's like to not have it. Do you understand? That's why history is so important. That's why you must teach the children the history of how you got to this point where you are. You understand? I didn't realize the value of history when they taught us all about George Washington and the Revolutionary War and all of those things. That even the history of them sitting around arguing about and debating what should be in the Constitution and all of that kind of thing. And Benjamin Franklin reminded them that we need to pray. And after they prayed, and after he said to them what he said about we called on the Father of lights when we was fighting against a tyrannical king, are we to say to him, now we don't need you no more? and he said, if God intervenes in the affairs of individuals, do you honestly think that he does not enter into the affairs of nations? And so they agreed that they would have prayer before coming into the lawmaking sessions and the business of, lawmaking. And they practice that even up to this day. But many of them, now, since you have people that never, they grew up in households with people who hated the Union and had made war against the Union. I'm trying to show you what's happening up there. I used to look at Sherlock Holmes, and he would, they would show you Sherlock Holmes would take little things that most people would overlook, and he would come up with a what you call a hypothesis of what took place. Like in mathematics, you solve for the unknown by careful observation of what is known. Do you understand? And so, look at all of these cities in the United States here that's named after people, especially in the South here, named after people who've tried to destroy the United States. I doubt if you can go to Germany and find Hitler County or Adolf County, but you find Jefferson County here. That is, that Jeff Davis was the one who was the Confederate president. Jefferson Davis. Look how many Jefferson counties you got around here. Whoa, you thought it was talking about Thomas Jefferson, huh? Oh, yeah, okay. But anyway, and then they name bases after Confederate generals and all of this kind of stuff. So, what do you suppose these same people who had all these Confederate statues of the Confederate soldiers, there was one right there in Fayette, in the middle of now a black town, a Confederate statue in honor of Confederate soldiers. What do you suppose these people been teaching their children at home? There's more than one way to skin a cat. You've heard that before? The pen is mightier than the sword. Huh? I bet you that's a Southern statement. So what they've been doing? They've been gradually easing getting their children grown up with the idea that the South shall rise again. I want you to hear me now. And that's where you got these people up in the. They decided that it was time when they had all the people in place. They figured they had enough people in place to set the plan in motion. Do you understand? And so that's what you have to deal with now. You got people who never, like they say, the South never really surrendered. They just made a promise they wouldn't take up arms again against the government. And if that's all they had to do was just promise they wasn't going to do that no more. Well, in actuality, they didn't actually do that again. They got into the government and began undermining everything that the government was trying to do. Do you understand? That's what they've been doing. You see. So, when you look at January 6th, see, most people don't look at it for what it really was. What if that had happened? What if it had been successful? Trump would now be king. Do you understand? For he had already said he wanted to be president for life. I didn't hear you. So, I mean, Putin been president for what, 20 years? How long he been in charge over there? And him and Putin gets along good, he say. So anyway, so you know when they alone, they give him, well, how are you staying in power? Then they gave him a class on it. Same with Kim Jong-un. You think they didn't talk about how are you controlling these people, all of these people that you control? And so this is the, if you want to control a lot of people, you got to control the information that goes to them people. Do you understand? That's one of the major ways. And I'm not just talking about over the airways. You got to control the schools. You see, if you really want to do the thing. But anyway, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry, and all of the founding, what they call founding fathers, they hated kings and despots, they call them. That's just another word for tyrant. Do you understand? They recognized, what do you think the statement came from? Power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. Where do you think white people got that from? They got that from studying their own history of monarchs and kings. Remember what they talked about that Queen Isabella over in France. Let him eat cake. Off with his head. That kind of thing. I mean, people that you give a corrupt person, you give a corruptible person, and understand something. all human beings are corruptible. That's why the scripture tells you, I want you to listen and weigh what I say. You think that I'm just talking, and I'm not just talking of myself. I'm sharing with you the wisdom that Allah has shared with me. Remember, we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery. Huh? Okay. Get wisdom, for that is the principal thing. And with all you're getting, the byproduct of wisdom is understanding. Huh? Okay. In 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. Listen, look at this now. It says, behold, this is the 51st verse. Behold, be still and give me your attention. I need to hold your attention. Behold. Then it says, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. But I think that before I read that verse, I better read the verse before that. Now this I say, brethren. You know, they're getting ready to have a coronation over there to anoint King Charles. Is that his name? Now, I'm not saying this to be disrespectful or to dishonor him. But I want you to understand something. If they had understood this, that alone would have told you that all of these so-called bloodlines and all of that stuff, that ain't worth nothing. Now, this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom or righteousness of God. Huh? Neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. So, even though we would like to think that our genes, if we are good people, that means our children going to be good people too. Huh? But the genes of humanity don't work like that. Do you understand? There's not a human being that is impervious to being corrupted. Do you understand? So it says, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. How many times? See, the reason we don't understand a lot of things is because oftentimes we say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, or we are going to do this, and we are going to do that. But who is the we? The we is the id, the ID. Who's actually doing the speaking? I remember once Star Trek had the old Star Trek with William Shatner and all of them on there. They landed on this, they got captured and landed on this, they was whisked away on this planet where they were turned into slaves. And they had to fight. And their captors were brains without bodies. Do you understand? Do you understand? And they had evolved to a point where the brain had figured out a way to just exist outside of a vessel. You understand? Kind of like what you saw in Guardians of the Galaxy #2, where he wound up having to kill his daddy. You understand? But anyway, I told you what most of us don't realize is that that's what our brain is. It's a light that guides us, but it shines in a dark place, just like the stars. They all shining in darkness. Do you understand? Our brain is that. You see, the brain, you never see it. It's in the dark, but it comprehends the light. Do you understand? Okay. The Holy Quran says, vision comprehends him not, and he comprehends all vision. Do you understand? I mean, I spoke on this a long time ago, relatively speaking. When I was telling you the brain is such a small thing, you can hold it in your hand. And it's so big that you can't fill it up. They wish they could produce a computer equal to the brain. You cannot. The brain is an example of finite infinity. We put infinity inside of the finite. Now, if that ain't God's doing, you tell me what it is. Huh? It's bigger on the inside. That's the UK Doctor Who. You remember Doctor Who? He had a name that didn't nobody know but him. Is that right? Yeah, you see where they get all these stories from? And what is it? What is it that he travels in? He travels in a communication box, a phone booth. Huh? Yeah. Well, what does the brain actually do? It's a communication. It's a means of communication. Is that right? Yeah. See, the brain that's in me is communicating with the brain that's in you because we taught ourselves how to make these sounds that we call talking. But all we are actually doing is making sounds that are that we have given meaning to. Do you understand? Man, we something, ain't we? Now, let's get here. It says, but behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. Hey, man, you said you was going to do something. Well, I changed my mind. Oh, you did. Look at some of the, I'll give you an example. That's why you don't want to kill the corrupt person. You want to kill the corrupt mind that's in the person. Do you understand? Because You've seen people. I've seen people that was racist and was practicing it and preaching it when they was in their 20s. Then they got in their 40s and started condemning it. Well, what if somebody had killed them while they was in their 20s? And tell me something. Can you really condemn something that you don't understand? It's just like people, they try to make the argument that a man who was in the mafia or in the gang, we can't trust his word because he was one of them. His word is the only word you can trust because he was one of them. I mean, you think you know more about what goes on in a person's house than somebody who lives in there? Most of the convictions that the Justice Department is getting is coming from people who was part of it and recognized after being part of it that it was the wrong thing to be part of. Huh? Look at the people in Scientology that recognize that it's wrong and now they're coming out speaking out against it. Huh? Now, these people that tried to overthrow the American government, why didn't they just come out and condemn democracy? Why don't they just come out and condemn it? It is because they really can't. They don't have a better alternative. So they have to do it incognito. They have to do it under cover of darkness. They have to make it appear to not work. I remember when we first made the devil and black people brought him back amongst the black nation and introduced them. And they all got amongst it, they was living in black people's company, and they began to sow the seeds of dissatisfaction and backbiting people and saying, I heard your neighbor talking about you last night. I just happened to be out there. I heard him talking about you last night. And he said, what did they say? Oh, they was talking about you bad. And then they was turning them against each other. Do you understand? And so it got 6 months after they had gotten there, people wasn't able to get along with each other. And kind of like the Democrats and the Republicans, when they let the Tea Party people in, not long after that, they can't get along with each other. do you understand? But anyway, the king said, when they took the matter to the king and asked him, said, we just can't seem to agree on nothing no more. The king asked him, how long had this been going on? And they said, about 6 months. And he said, how long have the strangers been here? And they said, about 6 months. He said, well, that's your problem. and so that's what have been happening. And I didn't never answer you, but I'm about to let the scripture answer you about all of us corruptible human beings. Notice the term corruptible. Have you thought about what that actually is saying? Tell me what it's saying. See, we We don't think. But I want you to start thinking. Remember, I told you, I'm not here to do your thinking for you. I want you to think for yourself. That's the greatest protection that you can put on your family. The greatest protection you can put on your nation is an enlightened mind. Where, I mean, it's just like, if you're in the dark, when you walk in a house that you left, you notice light switches are basically right at the entrance of the house. You can hear the switch and it'll turn the light on for you. Is that right? You don't want to go walking through your house bumping into stuff. You want to be able to see as soon as you get in there, don't you? That's why you put the light switch by the door as you come in. Okay. I want you to have the light of God right at the forefront of your brain, so that whenever something happens, you can turn the light on right away. Do you understand? Okay. Now tell me about corruptible. What is that? That's a compound word. We learn about compound words in elementary school. What is the word that's there? Just a moment. Let me turn the microphone on so I can hear you. Okay.
The word corruptible is a compound word consisting of two words, corrupt and able, meaning able to be corrupt.
Able to corrupt. What makes somebody able to corrupt you?
Gaining your trust.
No. I said, see, always listen to the question. What makes a person able to corrupt you?
Knowledge.
They are corrupt.
How do viruses enter into your body?
Through the weakest point.
Weak. A weak mind. And what is a weak mind? It's a mind that is lacking knowledge of understanding. The less you understand the things around you, the weaker you are. The more susceptible you are to being corrupted. Aren't? That's why you notice. I mean, you don't hardly ever find an army. I just want to show you now. You hardly ever find an army that's strong and is filled with men over 40 or over 30. Most of your armies that are strong, they are filled with young men that I mean, in order to convince somebody to go kill a stranger, you better get somebody who really don't know a lot. Do you understand? Because the minute he get old enough to start thinking about thou shalt not kill and well, why should I kill this person or whatever, he ain't gonna make no good soldier. Do you understand? So I'm trying to show you, we about to do away with all of this stuff. But the fact of the matter is, an ignorant mind is easily corrupted. Do you understand? So we come here corruptible. Do you understand? Okay. And because of that, that's how we made the white man the devil. If he had known what Yaqub had in mind, and what if they had, they didn't have no choice in being the devil. They was taught this from the time they was made. Do you understand? And so this is what Yaqub had in mind to do. And he did tell them that a curse was on them. And at the end of 6,000 years, that curse would be removed. That's what I'm doing now. I'm removing it. And so, and you know, you cannot, it's not enough to just say, I want to help you here, so that he won't make the mistake of writing me off. I had to first prove to him that I know who he is. And you notice he don't argue with me about calling him the devil. Do you understand? But I know the rest of the story. You understand? He didn't even know what his end was supposed to be. But in the end, he was to be changed. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. And then the scripture, this is to show you that I'm not making up nothing. In Corinthians, it says right here, it says, behold, I show you a mystery. This is that 51st verse of the 15th chapter of 1 Corinthians. I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but, you notice, the man that caused everybody else's death, he wasn't dead. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. Do you understand? I beheld a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was called Death. Let's go to it. Let's make sure I'm not misquoting it. This is the 6th chapter and the 8th verse of Revelation. It says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse. Now, when I was a little boy, Geno Jennings, he got mad when I showed him this. When I talked about in the book of Revelation, them horses that you saw there, I wasn't talking about no horses, them was talking about people. Do you understand? And so we when I was a little boy, I used to look at on Saturdays. I used to look at early in the morning. They had Mighty Mouse and all of them cartoons on, and then you know my dad, he was at home on there. He loved to look at the shoot 'em ups. He called them shoot 'em ups. And cowboys. You know the cowboys had Les LaRue, Tex Ritter, and you know Roy Rogers and all of them. Anyway, when they would show the Indians called white people paleface. Paleface speak with forked tongue. Now he wrote these scripts. I beheld, look at it. It says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, a paleface, and his name that sat on him was Death. And you even heard Mr. Oppenheimer and them, they all said, I am become death. Yeah. No matter, the reason he said it like that was because they already were death to you spiritually, but he had actually become, he had built a weapon or made a weapon, came up with a weapon that if he used it, if everybody had one and they chose to use them, it would wipe all human beings out. Do you understand? So he had become death. And so, but anyway, it said, and his name that sat on him was death. And that's why you find that throughout the Caucasian history, even Hitler, his sign was a cross. It was just a cross with them lines going around it, but it still was a cross. And all of England, they had a cross. America had a cross. Everybody had a cross. Do you understand? They was all vying or competing kings. You know, they even call themselves Vikings. Do you understand? Then it says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse. Now, think. As I've told you this so many times, if I was saying this in a secret place or a closet somewhere, you would have reason to doubt it. Because the one I'm talking about don't hear me. But I'm not in a closet. I'm on a housetop. I'm on the air. And I'm talking about white people and their history, and they ain't saying nothing. They're not accusing me of being an anti-Semite. I mean, to call me an anti-Semite is insane. I know what Semite means. See, the ones who they've been talking to didn't even know what Semite means. But I know. So it says, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. What is the meaning of devil? Come on, quickly.
Deviser of illusion.
Yes. If someone devises an illusion for you, then they are giving you misunderstanding of a thing. Is that right? The man that wanders out of the way of understanding shall remain where?
The congregation of the dead.
You know, I mean, when I was a child, I wanted to be Superman. I got up on the house with my cape. And, you know, the house ain't but about 10 feet up, you know, from the edge of the roof to the ground. It's generally a little over, maybe 10 or 12 feet. And I'd jump off and pretend to be flying. But you know where I went down. But the fact of the matter was, you know, children do that kind of stuff. You understand? I wasn't stupid enough to go get up on something that was going to kill me. But 12 feet wasn't nothing for a little boy. But anyway, his name that sat on him, the mind. Remember now, notice it says a pale horse and his name that sat on him. Now, where is heaven? For the scriptures say that heaven is God's throne. And my throne is ever on water. Huh? But now where's your brain at? Ain't it floating around in your skull inside the water? Okay. That's how you got here. You got here starting off in water. And that head of that sperm, I ain't no gambling man. But I would almost bet you. I said almost. Because only a fool bets on something that he don't know nothing about. Do you understand? But if you look at that sperm, the head of it and the tail of it, it look just like a a miniature brain and spinal cord. Okay. So the brain, and you notice your spine, your spinal cord is your, I think they call it your central nervous system. It's in that spinal cord, connected to your brain stem, giving you the ability to move around and do things. Huh? And so, but anyway, it's easy to get distracted when you're traveling the scenic route. So, so let's get back to this. It says, and his name that sat on him was Death. The mind that we put in the white man was a mind of deception and how to make unreal things look real. Do you understand? Why? Because we wanted to produce a wiser mind in the black man. Well, then make a trickster. And as long as he can trick him into making, when he can make evil seem fair to him and whatnot, as long as he can do that, he get to rule. Until he produced one, till we produced one that the devil couldn't fool. Do you understand? Then we could tell the devil, okay, that's enough. I'm sorry we made you like this, but you have to admit you had fun doing it. So it wasn't like we did you wrong. I mean, we winked at your evil, we closed our eyes to it, and even protected you from the effect of the evil that you was doing. You know, they was doing evil and it didn't seem to affect them. Is that right? That's because we didn't want it to. We cultured evil. Do you understand? But now, if you do it now, you notice you lying. They done caught that. I told you to Clarence Thomas he need to resign. Didn't I tell him that? And the rest of them up there that's done did things they ain't had no business. All of you need to just resign. Resign and leave the Supreme Court honorably. Do you understand? You don't belong there. Every one of you that took graft or took some bribes or whatever, and you ain't said nothing about what you've been doing, and now that it's done all come out, and it's more steady coming out. The honorable thing to do is resign and apologize to the American people. But anyway, so it says, and hell followed with him. Whosoever of them will follow you, I will what? I will certainly fill hell with them all. See how the Quran and the Bible agrees with each other? Okay. And power, knowledge was given unto them. Notice now. Knowledge, it says, he that sat upon him, his name that sat on him was Death. And power was given unto them. Huh? Yeah. If you remember, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that Adam was not talking about an individual. He said Adam was talking about the white race. They are a race of people, a race of devils. Do you understand? Then it says, power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. The earth's surface is 3/4 water. It's covered in 3/4 water. And so the fourth part is land. Is that right? And he even calls himself the landlord. Is that right? And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the spoken word and with hunger and with physical death and with the beasts of the earth. Huh? Yeah. So he took, you notice, you turn them AM stations on, well, everywhere you turn, it's just about some white man on there called himself preaching. Huh? Oh, yeah. Killing you with the spoken word. And so, let's get back over here to Corinthians. I only took you over there to show you that. So, he wasn't asleep. He was awake. But he killed everybody else while he was awake. Do you understand? He killed your mind. Gave you religions that he made up and had you busy worshiping him, and then you didn't even know you was worshiping him. Do you understand? And so he had dominion over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Then it says, now, we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment. What? In a certain time. A moment is a certain time. Do you understand? In the twinkling of an eye. Look how quick I condemn all of that stuff y'all been believing in. Huh? Now, what did Jesus say the eye is? Said the light of the body is the eye, isn't it? And, it's just like the devil tells us that there are stars that's light years away from us. And they gone now, but we getting a light just now. Yes. And you go for that, don't you? Huh? Anyway, he tell us anything. In order to, and he say it with an authoritative tone, and you just used to believing when he tell you stuff. Do you understand? Okay. Now, it says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. Now, why say at the last trumpet? Because what is the last trumpet? It's the day when the mystery of God is finished. I didn't hear you. What is the last thing you get in a book that's a mystery novel? In a whodunit? It reveals who done it. Is that right? It tells you all of the missing pieces of it, like I'm doing now. This is the last trumpet that's going to sound on you. The messenger told you. He said, the first trumpet is an easy sound. This come out of the mouth of some man, mouth of men. He said there was an end to Noah sounding his trumpet in his day and time. There was an end to Abraham and Lot sounding their trumpet in their time. He said, and he said, these is trumpets that comes from the mouth of men. But the trumpet I warn you of, it don't just pass from a man's mouth. He said, but it passes through some mechanical instrument. That's the trumpet I'm warning you to beware of. Huh? And they linking it up now. I didn't hear you. Well, I'm sounding it. He told you when he was here. He said, we're not very far off from the Gabriel sounding his trumpet. Why did he say from the Gabriel? Because the name Gabriel means man of God. And when he put the in front of it, the man of God. The man of God who understands the Holy Scriptures, the one that was told to eat it up. And he's called and is known as the Son of Man. Do you understand? Now, let's go here. It says, and at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead, the ignorant, shall be raised incorruptible. Oh, you see, you who listen to me, people can't fool you. Trump them ain't fooling you. Huh? Even the stuff that they've been call themselves doing behind closed doors, I told you about it before they did it. Didn't I? All right. So, they ain't smart. It's just that you was dead. You don't have to try to sneak up on a dead man. You can go walk right up on him. He don't see you. You understand? But now, you here, in the twinkling of an eye, you are learning these things. Jesus told you the light of the body is the eye. And then he said, as long as I'm in the world, I'm the light of the world. Meaning he was the eye who could see things. But you notice, the capstone that is on, you have looked at the dollar bill? On the back of it, it's got a pyramid. And you got a dollar? Let me see. I think I got one. Let me see here. I don't want to. Yeah, I got one. I got 3. But now look now. The designers of this had Allah helping them. So you didn't think America, the United States, came into existence by itself, did you? That's why them boys got in the Capitol with their Confederate flag. See, that told you the story right there. When they walked in there and had that Confederate flag marching through the rotunda, that told you who was behind all of that. All these Southern people that never stopped fighting the Civil War. They murdered Abraham Lincoln after he forgave them. Do you understand? Okay. So, and you notice, ain't now what I'm saying that I'm lying on them. He's scared I might tell something else. You see, they listening to me. Don't think he ain't listening. Oh yeah, they listening. The wicked watcheth the righteous, and seeketh to slay him. So, now on the back of the dollar bill, you take one out yourself and look at it. And you'll see that they got a replica. See, most people don't never think about where a pyramid is that look like this. But the Great Pyramid look just like that one. It ain't got no capstone on it. I didn't hear you. And they purposely left it off as a sign. For that stone is the Lord himself. That is the capstone. Why is the pyramid is a square at the bottom, at the base. But the 4 corners, they lead up to one point. Do you understand? All of the human family, the capstone, once the Lord himself come, he's like the capstone on a pyramid that connects to all 4 races of people that you call races. Black, brown, yellow, and white. And I'm the head of all of them. I'm the head of the corner. Do you understand? Well, what corner? Whichever one. Don't make no difference what corner. I'm the supreme being. And if you don't respect me as such, you soon not going to be on sucking air on our earth. I know you don't believe it, but you just, like you see what COVID-19 did. Over 20 million people gone. There's more of that coming. There shall be pestilences. Just found out that it was on the internet. I don't know how factual it is, but some of their orange juice been poisoning us. No wonder Allah said, if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. He saw what they was planning. But anyway, so you see in that capstone above the pyramid, you see an eye in the middle of it. Remember it says God winked at evil. He winked at ignorance. You notice that eye in that pyramid ain't winking. It's open now. I didn't hear you. The eye in that capstone is open. They ain't winking at you no more. A wink is a temporary closing of one eye. God winked at ignorance. Well, I ain't winking at it no more. How come ain't none of y'all telling me I'm not the supreme being? Since you don't believe it, why you don't come in here and tell me? While you claimed you believe in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that the black man is the supreme being. He told you that. He just didn't tell you which one of us. But he also told you, he said he was so mighty that he told Moses, just tell him I am that I am. He said, and when I let go I am, you know who he is. See, now you know who he is. He's standing here talking to you. So, you know, we must rid the earth of open and secret enemies. That's taking place now. I haven't told you, I haven't finished telling you everything that I want to tell you about January 6th, because I want you to understand it. I want you to digest it. So I'm going the long way. Do you understand? So it says, the dead shall be raised, the trumpet shall sound. The trumpet is sounding now through this mechanical instrument called the internet. And all of the ignorant people are being enlightened now and shown that the word of God, where the messenger said, where is the promised land? When they asked him, where's the promised land? He said, the place where you in. Where is the land? Where's this mystery Babylon? The mystery Babylon is the Babylon that the scripture is talking about in a mystery. Well, now you know where it's at. It's right here in the United States of America. And Babylon the Great is fallen. Is fallen. When you see men on television not only practicing the homosexuality, but getting out there talking about a man standing up talking about I was there with my husband and talking about it like it's something normal. You not falling, you done fail. And so, and then you got these people that's running around here, instead of looking for the Lord, they run around trying to murder homosexuals and murder people who practice that particular abomination. Not to mention their sinful conduct. I mean, they practicing sin, but ain't nobody trying to kill them. I didn't hear you. God didn't say only abominations going to be put to death. He said the wages of sin is death. Period. He also said, thou shalt not kill. He also said there is no compulsion in religion. You ain't got no right to go around threatening people's lives that don't believe in your religion. Well, that's the problem. You think religion belongs to you. True religion is not yours. He it is who sent his messenger with the guidance and the religion of truth. And as Allah said, I have chosen for you Islam as a religion. Huh? You didn't choose it. He chose it. He didn't tell me to come kill you. He told me to come warn you. I didn't hear you. He said, son of man, give them warning from me. But they ain't going to hearken unto you because they won't hear and obey you because they won't hear and obey me. That's what he said. So I'm doing what I was told to do. Giving you warning. So, it says, the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. You done seen people that used to be crooks. You run around here boasting on Malcolm X. You didn't know Malcolm before he accepted the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings and began following the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You met him after he had been changed. If you had met him before that, you'd have been ready to kill him. I didn't hear you. But to show you that that's the one thing about us. We are not animals. A lion is, he can't, there ain't nothing out of them jungles to change him. You can't sit him down and reason with him and tell him you need to stop eating up all these. Once you start eating grass like the ox and like the cattle, you can live off of it. If they can live off of it, you can live off of it. Well, I ain't got them many stomachs. I ain't got that. But anyway, I know they say a cow has what, 4 stomachs? And but a horse ain't got 4, do he? And he seemed to do pretty well off of grass. So, but anyway, the scripture does say, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. That's right. They ain't gonna be killing no more in my holy mountain. No more killing. So, but anyway, let's get back to this. Now, notice it says, let's read the 51st and 52nd verse again. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. How do you change a man's condition? You change his mind. Is that right? So our minds are going to be changed. Do you understand? And we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. You notice. Now you see that I'm coming to you every day now. Is that right? Off and on, off and on, off and on, off and on. Is that right? Every day. The twinkling of an eye. And it says, at the last trumpet, at the last trump, at the, what is the last trump? You played whist before, didn't you? Ain't it in whist that they have trump cards? Okay. If you keep up with it, you know that, I mean, you got 13 trump cards. Is that right? Okay. And sooner or later, if you keep in track, then you know that if hearts are trumps, then you keep track of how many trump cards been played. Is that right? And pretty soon it's just one last trump left, right? Well, remember, the last trump is the Lord himself. Jesus was a trump. Moses was a trump. David was a trump. Solomon was a trump. All of them were as Allah said, we sent no messenger, but that he should be obeyed. You notice, when you play a deuce against, if the trump card is hearts, and everybody lays down a ace of clubs, an ace of diamonds, and an ace of spades, and you play that deuce of hearts, them aces don't mean nothing. Huh? You know where that comes from? That game? Trumps is God's. Do you understand? The trump card is like God. Do you understand? You have no respect of persons. You don't care nothing about what your title is. Huh? It's just like me. It don't make no difference what your title is in this world. I'm the supreme being. And you will submit to me, or you will pay the price of rebellion. As I live, every knee shall bow before me, and every tongue shall confess unto my God. And my God is the truth. You know why your tongue ain't wagging? It's because I'm speaking the truth. And there is no, as the book says, it is an invincible book. Huh? You see, you are now looking at the immovable object and the irresistible force. We are one. The truth that I speak is irresistible. And as long as that truth is with me, like a tree planted by the rivers of waters, I shall not be moved. As Allah told me, he said, be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Huh? What is that to say? Be not moved by their words, nor moved by their looks. Huh? I shall not be moved. So, it says, now, in order for this to happen, look at the next verse. For this to happen, corruptible must put on incorruption. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Huh? So, for this to take place, corruptible must put on incorruption, and for this, mortal must put on immortality. Huh? There you go. So when this corruptible one shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where's thy sting? O grave, where's thy victory? For the sting of death is sin. Why? If you want to stop dying, you got to stop sinning. And if you want to stop sinning, you got to stop thinking sin. And if you want to stop thinking sin, you got to get a change of mind. Huh? Yeah. Eddie Kendrick sung some, oh, I need a change of mind. Yeah. So, this is what we are here for. We're here to bring an end to sin. And just give us a time, give us a little time, and we will do it. And then we will live like what we are, the human family of the planet Earth. And that's a great day. So, now I want to let you hear something over that you've heard before, but you will hear it differently now. You remember I told you about Minister Abdul Kareem, how he told us, you know, this was in 74. It was around between October and December of 74. It was right at the time when they kept going back and forth to Chicago because the messenger was ill, and he would come back and tell us that, you know, we'll pray and offer prayer for the messenger and stuff. And he brought the greetings back from the messenger to us. And he said, well, during that period of time, he said, kings and queens inherit thrones. He said, it is not so with gods. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. Huh? You see, most people, they didn't get that. It's just like you're going to hear him say some things. But see, I didn't just remember one part. That's the problem when Allah speaks to you. Did you see how many of y'all looked at Stargate SG-1? You remember the episode where what was it called? It was the final episode where all of the Ark of Truth, that was it. Did you see the Ark of Truth? Huh? Okay, well, in the Ark of Truth, Vala Malderon and Daniel, you know, they was main characters. One of the ascended ancients who was masquerading as Merlin. she was pretending to be Merlin, and Daniel called her out. And because Daniel and Merlin had merged with each other at one time, and he told her that he knew Merlin was dead. And so why are you faking like you Merlin? And so she owned up to it. And when Vala Maldoran was looking at the Ark of Truth, while her daughter, who was one of the bad, what was them people called? You all pardon me. You know, some of this stuff kind of jumbled up in my head here. They were the antithesis. They were ascended beings, but they were the negative aspects of it. And so they had impregnated Vala Maldoran with one of theirs and produced a child by her. And the child was taking part of they would call the Ori, you know. And the Ori, they were the antithesis of the other ascended beings, and they was trying to kill them. And so they was using the worship of people to strengthen themselves. The more people they had worshiping them, the more power they got. You know, kind of like what's happening with Donald Trump. His power, he ain't got no power, but the people that he can get to do his bidding. Do you understand? But anyway, so while Vala had produced this young lady that grew up in 3 days, you know, went from baby to grown in about 3 days, and so she was very powerful. She could do things with her mind, and she had a lot of the knowledge of the ascended beings of the Ori, but she wasn't able. Her brain couldn't hold all of that knowledge, so she was limited. But she was still she was an overmatch to the rest of human beings. And so at the end, they had a ark that would take away the power of the Ori over people if the light of it was seen shining. Everybody who believed the Ori to be gods would immediately, they would know that they wasn't. You understand? And they wouldn't worship them no more. And then their power would diminish. And so, you know, when you look at that, you look at just like Fox News, Newsmax, and all of these places that's got all these people hooked on them lies and whatnot, and people just, the internet, people feeding themselves off of lies. The more these people listen to me, the more the light of Allah is taking away the veil of falsehood that's on people's minds if they listening to me. Do you understand? See, because I know they have to wonder, how is he able to stand up and say all of these things and ain't none of these people saying anything to him? I'm able to say all of these things because I'm the supreme being. I'm the Lord. So now, when Vala was Tilk had been captured, Daniel had been captured, all of them had been captured by Vala's daughter, who was the sole survivor of the Ori after all the rest of them had got wiped out. And so she had all of the power now. And while she was distracted, the other ascended being made the Ark of Truth light up. And so it was 7 spots on it that lit up, and Vala could see them. for a few seconds. And then they went dark again. And so she told Daniel, she said, at some point there were some lights lit up on there. And he said, well, which lights? And she said, I'm not sure. He said, if an ascended being gave you that, you know what it is, that you should know, because they put it in her head, you know. And he said, just think. And she said it was 2 here, 2 there, 1 there, and 2 here. And was there any order? She said no. And so he pressed her. And by the time, you know, it's just like what I was telling you. I brought this up because it's no way that I could remember all of these things if Allah hadn't put it in my head. Do you understand? It's not, I mean, ain't nobody's memory that good, brother. Don't, you got people that claim they got a photographic memory, but your photographic memory ain't helped you to explain that Bible, has it? Now, so I want you to understand that the things I'm about to show you, like Minister Kareem, he told me, he said, kings and queens inherit thrones. It is not so with gods. You notice, you've never heard anyone say that Solomon was the successor of David. That's not the way messengers of God come. You remember Jesus said, Father, I have finished the work that thou gavest me to do. Huh? Turn to it. It's the book of John. And it's the 17th chapter. These words, this is the first verse. These words spake Jesus, and lifted up his eyes to heaven, and said, Father. Now, most people, they think he did like this, looking up. That's not heaven out there. Heaven is under your feet. Muslims pray, and they lift up their heads to heaven. Do you understand? Yeah. And so it says, Father, you notice, now he's praying. He's supplicating. Father, the hour is come. Glorify thy Son, that thy Son also may glorify thee. So Allah is glorifying me now so that I can glorify him by glorifying all of his messengers and the messages that they were sent with. Do you understand? As thou hast given him power over all flesh, thou hast given him knowledge above all flesh. He's the supreme being. Do you understand? That he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him. And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God. You notice, we say Allah is the Lord of the worlds. That is because Allah is the truth. The truth is the only grantor of dominion. And it says, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Christ. Understand something, that they may know Christ. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and how many of the anointed ones with him? All of the holy angels with him. So now I can help you to know all of them. Huh? Okay. Then it says, and Christ, whom thou hast sent. Then it says, I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. You know why they call Lyndon Johnson the successor of President Kennedy? I know you know. Tell them. Brother Michael.
Because he died when he was in office and he didn't finish his term.
Cause who?
Because the President Kennedy died while he was in office and he didn't finish his term.
So his vice president succeeded him. Huh? Finished what he couldn't finish. Jesus said he finished the work he was given. Is that right? So there was no successor. What prophet do you know of that didn't finish what God gave him to do? It's like people, they didn't understand the word successor. And that's why in Savior's Day 1975, they was calling W.D. Muhammad, some of them was calling him the successor of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You had people claiming that Prophet Muhammad had a successor. There was no successor to Prophet Muhammad. That's the lie you made up. There are never successors to prophets or messengers, because they always finish what Allah gave them to do. He protects them until they deliver the message that he sent them with. So, the messenger had already told us there will be no successor. Now, I want you to listen to this and be enlightened.
Being assistant to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad here, number 2. Now today, I devote my life and my death to the Honorable Muhammad.
You should never say that you devote your life and your death to an individual man. That's not the prayer. The prayer says, surely my prayers and my sacrifices, my life and my death is all for Allah. Do you understand? You see how they really didn't know that what they had was not the proper understanding of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Do you understand? Because he wasn't here to raise up a nation. He was here to raise up the one who would raise up a nation. Do you understand? And that's why he called what he was teaching and the lessons, when you were accepted into the Nation of Islam, you had to write a letter saying that you believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the true servant and the messenger of Allah and his true servant. You had to write a letter proclaiming that. And you say, I desire a name from thee. Huh? Why? Because the one that he was here to raise up would have a name that nobody would know but him. I would give him, I would write upon him my new name. That's what it said. And I desired a name, and he gave it to me. Do you understand? And so, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when you was accepted into the Nation of Islam, you got what is called the student enrollment. And it started with a question. Who is the original man? And it had answered the question. The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. He was here to teach the Son of Man the knowledge of himself. Do you understand? And that's exactly what he did. He taught me who I am. And once I accepted it, then my growth and development began. You see, it's just like, you notice, when a man is trying to produce a child, the potential is in the ovum of the woman. But the ovum has to ovulate to a place where it can be fertilized. And in order to fertilize it, the man has to have enough life germs that a large group of them can make it up to the ovum and begin to wear away the protective coating around by bumping into it. Each time they bump into it, there's a coating on the head of the sperm that counteracts the coating around the egg. And it's enough of them bumping into it, it's steady wearing it away until one of them can get in. Do you understand? And so the messenger sent, when you joined the nation, the brothers were told to go out fishing. And they would go out fishing, means go out and find people on the street, find brothers and sisters walking up and down the street and invite them to the temple. Say, come on in, brother. Why? Because every person that came into the temple was potentially the one that the messenger was looking for. Do you understand? The Son of Man had been born. They knew the Son of Man had been born because the star representing the birth of the Son of Man showed up. You understand? That red and blue, that binary star, the red and blue, that you still see out there twinkling in the southeastern skies. And it didn't show up but once every 50,000 years. And it was a sign of the birth of the coming of the Son of Man. And so the Master Farad Muhammad's father saw it and got busy and produced a son that would come over here and bring the knowledge that belonged in the Son of Man to Elijah. And he taught Elijah day and night for 3 years and 4 months. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that he gave him enough to last him for 40 years. And he understood after he had been teaching for a while, he understood like Jesus. At first, Jesus thought he was the one to bring the end to the world. And then he discovered that that man was yet to come. And that's why the messenger said, it's been, I don't come out very often to teach, he said, because I'm forbidden to do so until the proper hour. And so when it was time, he got up and started teaching on the theology of time. The term theology of time means the study of God, of the God and religious truth of the time called the Sabbath day. And so that's what theology of time was. And he didn't say all of that. I'm breaking it down for you. And then he began teaching it. And he said, this teaching, as you're going to hear Farrakhan say, the messenger said Allah promised him a son. And he thought, he tried to apply that to W.D. Muhammad. But that wasn't the son the messenger was talking about. The messenger said, this teaching will rise a powerful son of truth. Do you understand? And so I'm that son, S-U-N. And so the all of them, like the Minister Yusuf Shaw, he didn't know what he was saying up there. Talking about my life and my death is all for Wallace Muhammad. You know, no, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't tell us to say that about him. We didn't say, surely my prayers and my sacrifice, my life and my death is all for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. No, he taught us to say my life and my death is all for Allah. Do you understand? And so you can see how far off they was from really understanding the messenger. You understand? Okay. And I'll tell you something else. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he didn't open up classes and start teaching you the Holy Quran and the Holy Bible. He touched on those books, but he didn't start holding classes like I'm doing. No, because that wasn't his job. His job was to lay the foundation. That's why the letter starts off, you have to believe in Allah and his messengers. And that's the first thing you had to write a letter saying you believe. Do you understand? Okay.
My beloved brothers and sisters, it gives me the greatest honor and a privilege to introduce this next giant, the nation of Islam. The man who inspired me when I was in the ranks, the man who inspired me when I was a lieutenant, and brothers all over the wilderness of North America. It gives me an honor and a privilege to bring before you the Supreme Captain of the Nation of Islam, Brother Supreme Captain Raymond Sharif.
Assalamu alaikum. In the most holy name of the Lord, the all-wise, true, and living God, the kind and life-giver to we, the lost nation in the wilderness of North America, the Lord of the worlds, to whom all praise is due. And in the name of his true servant and divine apostle, our leader and teacher, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. My beloved brothers and sisters, I am indeed happy to be here with you today on this wonderful occasion. I am even more happy to have the privilege of having these few words to say to you. Myself, as Brother Minister Shaw, pledge my undivided allegiance to our Brother Minister Wallace D. Muhammad.
Now understand something. Allah was visiting W.D. Muhammad then, because he said a lot of things that were true. Do you understand? But he didn't believe none of it. You understand me? Okay.
very lofty position by his father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I shall carry on in the tradition that his father has taught me. And by traveling that path, I'm sure that we will be successful. I'm not before you to teach you, but I would like to have your undivided attention because I have a very important passage to read to you from the Holy Quran. This is from the Holy Quran, page 168.
Notice, he didn't say chapter. He said page 158. Do you understand? Because they didn't open up the Holy Quran and the Holy Bible and start teaching out of them when we was in the temples. It wasn't time for that. It was time to teach and to find that lost member, the Lord himself, and teach him. Do you understand? Teach him the knowledge of himself. And that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing. That's why you had so many brothers. Every brother that came in the nation, he came out saying he was God. Do you understand? And they didn't really realize that all of us can't be God now. It ain't but one God. Do you understand? And if you ask one, well, what does God mean? What does that term mean? Nobody ever broke that down for you until I got here. Because no one knows God but God. Do you understand? So now you in a quagmire. The white man already bore witness that God is man. So he can't take that back. Put the pictures up there. He said that Jesus was God in the flesh. In other words, God is man. And then he gave you a picture of a white man. Just pick one. It doesn't make no difference. So, you can take it down now. But the truth of the matter is, he did just what the book said he would do. He would set himself up in the temple of God, which is the mind or brain of human beings, showing himself that he was God. Showing you pictures of himself claiming to be God. Do you understand? And he even asked some, after telling you that Jesus was God in the flesh, then he asked his brother, hey, you want to be Jesus? What do you mean? Do you want to be God? Come on, I'll put your picture up here. He ain't so interested in being God no more though, huh? So anyway, as you listen to all of this, I'm going to let you hear Professor Baghdadi, because, he know the messenger had said there won't be no successor. But let's see here. I'm going to find him.
Only going to take the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, could we have to say receive because he's not dead to us now in the same place.
Is there Operation Push? Reverend Jesse Jackson. I couldn't bear to follow Muhammad. Operation Push for those aspiring words. So like Allah, brothers and sisters, we have another great man in our midst. He's an Arabic teacher in our school. I'm going to get away and bring him before you, Professor Baghdadi. of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the new humble servant of Allah.
You heard him say, Honorable Wallace Muhammad, successor of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad ain't have no successor. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was asked about a successor, and he said, no, there will be no successor. Do you see now that that was all a farce? What they was doing up there? But the nation was on its way to taking a dive. Do you understand? As he said, the nation was going to go down to almost nothing. But it will be rebuilt, never to fall again. So WD, he was born to take it down. Do you understand? And he took it down. Everything but the foundation. You notice he ain't never produced an argument that proved that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had told a lie. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the foundation that he laid is still there, still true. Everything he said was true and is true. I'm standing on it. And I can prove it. So, there was one paper, Muhammad Speaks, came out and said, how strong is the foundation? Well, now you know how strong it is. It's upholding me. Yes, sir. As I upheld and uphold the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his teachings uphold me. Do you understand? Okay. So this man, he was saying some things. He started off wrong. Successor to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Ain't no successor.
Children of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, family of Muhammad, faithful ministers and followers of Muhammad, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Peace, mercy of Allah and His blessings be with you. The ambassador of the Arab League, which represents 20 independent Arab governments and other Muslim representatives, have asked me to convey to you, to the family of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the deepest sympathies. I convey to you all the deepest sympathies of 130 million Arabs. I convey to you the deepest sympathies of more than 600 million Muslims in the East.
Now, I want to say to all of you who say you are Muslims, to convey sympathies to me is appreciated. But where were you when the messenger was asking for help to build what he was trying to do for us here? None of you stepped up and offered us any help. You sit on millions of dollars worth of oil revenue and all of that, and I think Colonel Muammar Gaddafi loaned the messenger $4 million. Matter of fact, the messenger said $3 million. And he said, when you heard about the Muslim country loaning us $3 million, he said, that's like a man loaning you $3 when you needed 100. He said, the people will regret their non-help to us. He said, I could tell you of a day of a promise that Allah hath promised me. He hath promised me much. He said, and you don't have to go outside of America to get it. He says, right here in America. And he will release it certainly on time. He hath promised me millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. And he will release it certainly on time. So, you know, it's one thing to call me brother, but if I had the revenue that I seen in so many of these nations, and I saw people struggling to get themselves together, especially people who had been treated like the black man and woman of America, I wouldn't rest until I helped them. And many of you may think I'm just talking, but everybody who know me knows that I'm not tight. I'm not a person who have plenty and satisfied to just be selfish with it. And I'm going to show you when we get ourselves up and get ourselves together. I'm going to show you what you should have did when you had your wealth. You know, I would never do what I see you do. You turn a blind eye and a deaf ear. You see the good I'm doing. It's online. You see what I'm trying to do. But I thank those of you who've given me so much as a penny to help me to do this work. Well, you keep your receipts and whatnot. All you doing is investing, and you're going to get a rich reward for what you did for me. Some of you, I'll never hear from you unless you want something from me. You don't never. I don't hear from you when you got something. You don't give me nothing. But that's okay. That's backwards, brother and sister. You know, if you know that you call me friend, well then, why you don't act like a friend? I don't even hear from you until you just want me to do something. I love you, but it seems that that's a one-way love. So, I want to give all of you some advice. The time you should call on me is when you have something, then get my advice on what to do with it. And you'll find that if you follow my advice, you will always have something. So, anyway, you know, I want all of you to listen to me. I don't force myself on people, but I make myself always available to people. You understand? The scriptures say, in all your ways of life, acknowledge the Son of Man, and he will direct your path. So, you needn't think that because I started off poor that I'm going to stay that way. No, actually I didn't start off poor. I've always had a wealth of knowledge and understanding in my head that was just sitting there waiting to be opened. And now the Honorable Elijah Muhammad opened it. He opened my mind. When he opened the scriptures, he opened my mind. And now I have treasures and treasures and treasures of wisdom. All you got to do is act on what I told you to do. And you'll see. We'll have plenty. You know, when I tell you something and you don't act on it, I know you don't believe. Do you understand? You don't have the Lord telling you to do something and you claim you believe that's the Lord and you don't do it. Well, that's because you're not no believer. I'm just telling you, I'm talking to you righteous here, brothers and sisters. Don't think you fooling me. Farrakhan thought he was fooling the messenger until he found out the meaning of his name. The messenger didn't hate Farrakhan. He was hoping that the brother would wake himself up, would wake up and realize that this is God's messenger. Can't you see everything this man doing that ain't nobody ever did and ever taught you? Don't you see that this is God's messenger? But he's sitting up thinking the messenger was jealous of him. The messenger tried to warn him, and he acted a fool. He thought it was jealousy talking. Anyway, so as these people were talking, now I'm gonna get on over here to where I really wanted to go, because Minister Abdul Kareem, he had already told me. Remember now, when Allah is talking to you, if He's talking to you, you don't forget what He said. Do you understand? Because as He's talking to me, He's imprinting that on me. Because He's going to connect something else to it later. You understand? And so, now remember now, I told you it was around the end of, close to the end of 1974, when Minister Abdul Kareem told me that kings and queens inherit thrones. It is not so with gods. Now, listen to his. As I told Minister Abdul Kareem, I bet you he didn't even notice that every time Minister Yusuf Shah introduced him, he introduced him the same way. That it's written that his ministers are aflame, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the fire, and his ministers is the flame. It said when the flame shoots, it can start another fire. And it says, and this is, then he introduced Minister Abdul Kareem. He never introduced others that way. That's why I said the messenger must have told him how to introduce Minister Kareem. Do you understand? And if the messenger didn't tell him, Allah told him. Because that's every time he introduced Minister Abdul Kareem, he said that. At least all 3 times that I heard him on the Theology of Time, he said that when the flame shoots, it can start another fire. After he had said that the fire is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Do you understand? Well, if he can start another fire, he can raise up someone just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Do you understand? Okay, so listen to him, and then you will hear Minister Kareem he's going to tell, it's like he was talking to me again. He said, this is a great day and a dreadful day. It's great if you understand what's taking place. It's dreadful if you fail to understand. Do you understand? Now, what was it that you could fail to understand? And the reason you would fail to understand is because you ain't been paying attention to all these warnings you've been getting. Do you understand? Okay.
The all-wise, the all-true and living God who came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise be due them. We thank Allah, the great God of the universe, for coming to this worst part of the planet Earth and searching, finding, and raising up from among us a divine and holy apostle in the person of the most honorable and humble Elijah Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, we are living in a very, very great day and a very, very dreadful day. It is a great day if we understand what's taking place today, and it is a dreadful day if we fail to understand. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a wise man, the wisest and the greatest of them all. And it is just not in the book. It is just not in logic and reason that such a wise and great and humble man as we know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to be, to leave us unprepared. We are not unprepared. For he had prepared one from himself. And that one that he had prepared among himself to be our head is the one that we come here today to worship our Savior Day with, the Honorable Wallace D. Muhammad. In the absence of the messenger of Allah, we look to the royal family of the messenger for guidance and leadership. They have always taught us that the king, for he had prepared one from himself. And that one that he had prepared among himself to be our head is the one that we come here today to worship our Savior Day with, the Honorable Wallace D. Muhammad. In the absence of the messenger of Allah, we look to the royal family of the messenger for guidance and leadership.
Now, you see, most people, it's just like the brother came and told me that you can't be the Mahdi because the Mahdi Prophet Muhammad said the Mahdi would come out of his family. And then I quoted Jesus to him. I told him, I said, Jesus told you who your family is. Jesus said that whosoever doeth the will of my Father, the same is my mother and my brother and my sister. The 11th chapter of the Holy Quran, and I think it's chapter 11, just a moment. Yeah, chapter 11 of the Holy Quran. And now remember now, it says, as it was in the days of Noah. And it's the 46th verse, Well, let's go to the 44th verse. Well, not that one. The 40th verse. It says, at length, when our command came and water gushed forth from the valley. You know, all oceans are actually valleys filled with water. And when the moon was ripped away from the earth and got out so far and turned over, all the water that was in the valley gushed out. Do you understand? And got caught up in the atmosphere over that part of the earth, and it took it 40 days and 40 nights to finish falling. Do you understand? Okay. It says, at length, when our command came and water gushed forth from the valley, we said, carry in it 2 of all things, a pair from your farm, and thine own family, except those against whom the word has already gone forth, and those who believe. And there believed not with him but a few. And he said, embark in it, in the name of Allah, be it sailing. In truth, be it sailing. And it's anchoring. Surely, my Lord is forgiving and merciful. And it moved on with them amid waves like mountains. And Noah called out to his son, and he was aloof. He said, oh, my son, embark with us, and be not with the disbelievers. And his son said, I will betake myself for refuge to a mountain that will save me from the water. And Noah said, there is none safe today from Allah's command, but he on whom he has mercy. And a wave intervened between them, so he was among those who was drowned. And it was said, O earth, swallow thy water, and O cloud, clear away. And the water was made to abate, and the affair was decided, and it rested on the Judai. And it was said, away with the iniquitous people. And Noah cried to his Lord and said, my Lord, surely my son is of my family, and thy promise is true, and thou art the justice of the judges. See, Allah had told him he's going to save him and his family. Remember that? He said to Noah, Allah told him, Noah, he is not of your family. He is the embodiment. He is an embodiment of unrighteous conduct. So ask not of me that of which thou hast no knowledge. I admonish thee lest thou be of the ignorant. And so Noah said, my Lord, I seek refuge in thee from asking of thee that of which I have no knowledge. And unless thou forgive me and have mercy on me, I shall be of the losers. Whosoever loveth son or daughter more than me. You better watch yourself. I didn't hear you. So when he said that the messenger's family, yes, he did prepare one from his family. You looking at him. Jesus, Moses, David, Solomon, we are family. If you was of the family, you would know what's going on in the house. Come on, open one of these doors and tell me what's behind it. WD couldn't tell you what was behind the doors. When he tried to explain water in the wine, he messed that all up. He wasn't of the family. I'm of the family. All of the messengers of God turned water into wine. That's why people are walking around drunk on religion. Because they've been touching the wine while it's still in the glass and moving itself aright. It's still curing. And it's done become alcoholic. It's filled, it's polluted. It's spoiled. But you know, even spoiled liquid, the sun can draw up that liquid and leave all of that behind that was spoiling it and send it back down just pure. I didn't hear you. So if you listen to the way Minister Kareem was speaking, then you will understand what I heard that didn't nobody else hear. The messenger prepared one from his family. Do you understand? But you got to know what family is. So, the royal family. We sent no messenger but that he should be obeyed. Well, I guess if we didn't send no messenger but that he should be obeyed, all messengers were royalty. Huh? And they were royal family.
The Anglo-American has always taught us that the kings, the scientists, and gods come out of the one family. They come out of the same family. The reigning God, before he passes.
You see how he's putting that? You see? They come out of the same family.
The mental or the real part of the party to one of his own. He passed it down to one of his sons. And then it becomes the son. It becomes his duty and his responsibility to accept this position of rulership and authority.
You remember the messenger said in the theology of time, he said, I know you will not agree with me, but you will grow to agree with me. It's the son that must accept the authority. I had to accept who I am. Do you understand? I couldn't accept being called God because I didn't know what that meant. I knew I wasn't what I thought God was. Do you understand? And I said, well, I'm going to leave that alone. I didn't say he's lying. I said, I don't understand that. I'm going to leave that alone. Do you understand? Just like I left the Bible alone. I didn't call the Bible a lie. I said, I don't understand it. And I'm leave that alone. Do you understand? So now that I understand, I can agree with him that yes, I'm God. I'm able to take dominion over anybody who I conversate with. Pretty soon, I'll be the only one talking. Do you understand? I don't care. Let him say something. What is it?
Larry Nelson says, why don't Son of Man and Farrakhan unite?
You don't ask why don't Son of Man and Farrakhan unite? Ain't nothing stopping you from uniting with me. What's stopping you? It's not like I'm hiding. Farrakhan wanted to be what he was not. That's the problem with most of you that's out there. You don't want no leadership. The messenger told you that. He told me that. He said, you don't want no leadership. That's what he said about black people in this country. Every one of you want pages spread out for itself. Even want to take the book that Allah gave to messenger and go out and teach it yourself without the knowledge of it. Keeping the blind blind, the deaf deaf, and the dumb without a language. He said, you are crazy people. Nobody wants you but God and myself. Yeah, that's what he told you. Now you asking me, you asking somebody, why don't Farrakhan and the Son of Man unite? The messenger said, you don't wait until the Muslim comes join up with you. You go join up with the Muslim. Farrakhan ain't got nothing that's attracting me. What is he doing? Other than standing up there just posturing. And people, rappers and stuff, puking up on him. Because he not condemning what they doing. Telling them how great they are. Telling preachers how great they are. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't tell Martin Luther King that he's a great man. How great he is. He told Martin Luther King that what he's teaching is a lie. And Martin Luther King finally agreed with him. He said, but there was a man, he was frightened to death by white people. Yes. Before that brother that was real close to Martin Luther King, Harry Belafonte, when he talked about Dr. King, he said the same thing, that Martin Luther King used to get the hiccups a lot. And then in the later years, he spoke to him about it. He said, I noticed you don't hiccup as much now. He said, well, he said, what'd you do? He said, well, I finally come to terms with death. Do you understand? He was frightened when he'd go out there with these people. You just don't know. The white man he talked some real tough stuff to the Negro. I was told that he called Dr. King up and told him he just well to commit suicide. Yeah. Now, if he pulls something like that with me, Allah would probably stop his heart while he's saying that. You know, they was told, don't even tempt, don't call yourself testing the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. No. You shut your mouth. And all y'all ducking around the situation, you sitting in here listening to me, I'm trying to figure out how come you ain't joined with me. I know why Farrakhan ain't joined with me. Because he turned hypocrite. As the messenger said, he's very well known, all right, so that when he turns, not if he turns, so that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. So now get back to Minister Abdul Kareem. See, he's saying out of the messenger's family, the messenger prepared one. Huh? Why? Because that's written. He says, behold, I send my messenger and he shall prepare the way before me. Huh? I am the way. And the messenger prepared me to go into the scriptures and be taught directly from the written word of God. Do you understand? He didn't tell me to go find Master Farad Muhammad. He said, if you want to talk to Allah, read the Holy Quran, read the Holy Bible, and you'll discover that it's all written about you. Do you understand? And to me, it's my inheritance. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad delivered it to me. Kind of like on the you remember they broke the scriptures up into 3 parts, right? The Torah, the Gospel, and the Quran. Now, did you see the return of the king? They broke the sword up into 3 parts, didn't they? And then the ones who made it in the first place, the elves, when the true king came back, the elves put the king of the elves, he put the sword back together. and gave it to the king. Huh? The messenger put the Torah, the gospel, and the Holy Quran back together and gave it to me. Do you understand? All right. The ring of authority was given by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to one of his sons, to his family. This teaching will rise a powerful son of truth. Huh? He gave the ring of power to me. Do you understand? All right. He knew. Now listen to how, whether he knew it or not, Allah spoke to me through him. He said, and he's still speaking. I'm just now really catching these things. As he said, it is a great day if you understand what is taking place, and it is a dreadful day if you fail to understand. Huh? Yeah. What if I didn't understand and had took off following Wallace and gave up what the messenger had put in my hand? Hold that fast which thou hast, lest any man take thy crown. Huh? The messenger said the black man does this. He can crown you with light. The messenger crowned me with light. Light of understanding. With the keys. What is the key to a map? It's down there. It's, if you know how to read the map, the understanding of it is right there. They crown you with the key. Do you understand? All right. You notice, he said, give to me an aider from my family. You remember David said, I lift mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help, my aid. And my help cometh from the Lord. Huh? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, ain't nobody coming behind me but God. I better tell you that. Remember that? Okay, so when the messenger was talking about me many times, he said that a third book and a fourth book is to come. And he's preparing a book. He said, well, he got it prepared. He's waiting on a certain time to give it to me. Do you understand? Unto us a son is given. Huh? And so he knew that I would from his teachings, that I would be sent into action. Jesus knew from his teachings that I would be sent into action. It's just like in this dark silhouette or version of the world to come, when generals and military personnel receive their orders, they receive them in written form. You understand? And they authenticate it before they act on it. You understand? And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he told me, if you want to talk to Allah, read the Quran, read the Bible. What did Jesus say? He said, it is expedient for you that I go. For if I go not away, the Comforter ain't going to come. Because as long as I'm in the body, I'm absent from him. But if I depart, I will ascend unto the Father. And then the Father will come himself. Do you understand? And so as I'm drawing up the words off of the pages of these books, Jesus and Moses and David and Solomon, all of them are ascending up to me. They are the ways of ascent. And then I send them back down to you to help you come up to where we are. Do you understand? So all praises due to Allah. It's been 3 hours. I'm going to I think I'm gonna cut it there, and we'll go. When Sunday comes, we'll have 4 hours or 5 hours, and I might even go 6 hours. It just depends. And then we will take you into more of this. And did anybody have something they want to ask me before I get off of here?
I have a question, sir. In that verse you was reading from the Quran, chapter 11, verse where it said Judah.
When it says rested on the Judah, that's just another way of saying it came to rest on land. You know, let's look it up down here. Let's see here. Give me a minute. Judah, A. Let's see here. Al-Judah, and so, let me see. Heraclius went from the town of Damanan up to the mountain Al-Judah and saw the place of the ark. It's still, I'll just bring it up. You know, these Arabic words, if, as the messenger said, we don't have to try to give them our own interpretation. You can look them up. I do that all. Place of descent. That's the meaning of it. The Judaic Kurdish is Noah's Appobatarian or place of descent. And like I said, the location where the ark came to rest after the great flood. The place of descent, you know. And I think that it's written like that, brother, because the place that the ark rested was still surrounded by water, you know, for a time, you know. I mean, if the ark came to rest there, it floated to that. Do you understand? So how would you know where it was? So it was the place where the ark rested. The Judah, the place of descent, where the water was dropped down enough for it to come to rest. So, yes, sir. Anyone else had a question? You know, it's unlike many people. When they, you know, if I hated white people, I couldn't learn. Oh, it's something that I almost forgot to tell you. It's like when people leave me. They leave me and what we are doing. See, you may think that's a light thing, but see, I understand what they have done. By leaving me, they are saying that as far as they're concerned, everything that I spent my life working for can be thrown away. As far as they are concerned, they could care less about it, and they're willing to throw it away. And then you expect me to do what? Continue grinning with them or what? No, I'm not. And that's what January 6th was. If they had gotten their way, what George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, what the Constitution and all of the laws and all of the things that had been put in place They were willing to uproot it all and throw it in the trash. And you sitting up here sympathizing with them. Okay, you go ahead. Anyway. It's bad when you can't see. But I can see. I can hear. And I'm taking it out here and shouting it in the streets. That's right. So, don't be sympathizing with these people. Yeah, they got a hell of a nerve to be putting in the news these people in the jailhouse that was arrested for trying to destroy the country, destroy the government. Got a hell of a nerve in there calling singing the Star Spangled Banner. When you saw them parade a Confederate flag in the rotunda of the Capitol building, just mocking you. And you know the sad part is you letting them get away with it. Well, I'll take that back. They sitting up in jail, ain't they? And yeah. But if I was the warden, I would tell them, no, you're not going to sing that in here. No, you're going to get your behind back in that cell. And you're going to shut up. You've already shown what you think about the Stars and Stripes, about the Star Spangled Banner. You don't give a damn about that flag. Or you wouldn't have brought the Confederate flag into the Capitol building. You even took the flagpole with a flag on it, attacking the police officers. That's what you think of the flag? Use it as a weapon? Nah. Let me let y'all go. May Allah bless us, keep us safe, and in our right minds. May Allah's salam alaikum. I ain't saying that to the wicked. When I wish you peace, I wish peace to those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. May Allah salam alaikum.